Max Moser at Donington Park, visiting old friend Jean-Pierre Jabouille from the Formula One days. Of course, Jab running one of the teams here, and Philippe Alliot, who Max knows well, also from the earlier days of Formula One. And here, visiting the BMS Scuderia's garage, of course, we had to ask him his views on the series.
Is getting very interesting because there are a large number of manufacturers who have very, very high performance road cars, very interesting road cars, and it would make complete sense to have them racing. The challenge is to have rules which enable to take place without huge expenditure or without them making the cars so expensive that people can't afford to buy them to race them. But we are in discussions with various manufacturers on that point, and I'm sure that we'll get the problem.
Be good to see some more fresh blood coming into what is an already a pretty excitingly different championship. So let's get round 5 underway then, with surprise pole sitter Philippe Alliot in the Festina Force One Viper, just being passed into the first corner by his teammate Mike Hazemans, who shares with Anthony Kumpen. They, of course, the winners of last year's race. Down the Craner curves, the Festina Force One Vipers are out front. And yes, they were just simply, and perhaps as surprising to them as everybody else, quicker in qualifying. Right behind them, the Ferraris, the Listers, and one of the surviving American-built Celines. The other one, that of Jean-Marc Gounon, had to start from the back of the grid because the driver wasn't back in his car from a toilet break as the field got away. Lap 9, Ferrari of Matteo Bobi passing Philippe Alliot for second place. And then on lap 14, a big battle with Mike Hazemans for the lead. Hazemans going on to shed a rear bumper. And down at the hairpin, Hazemans suddenly facing the wrong direction. Spins it down to 6th position. The 23 car has also spun, and that leaves Philippe Alliot back in the lead. By lap 18, Andrea Piccini is passing Fabrizio Golin's Ferrari for second place. And Jean-Marc Gounon in the yellow Celine charging up the order. Unfortunately, he charges a little too hard, gets by Jamie Campbell-Walter, who lets him go and clatters into Golin. And for that simple driving error, he gets a drive-through penalty. Lap 19, and Andrea Piccini just giving it too much of the right foot through Coppice. And the Lister spins out from second back down to 6th. Well, Gounon on a charge as the Ferraris recover. Oh dear. And finally, Matteo Bobi just gets it back under control. Inside Golin, he goes for 4th. Jamie Campbell-Walter in traffic and chasing Philippe Alliot. Lister down the inside. Alliot gives him room. No need for contact. Two sensible grown-up drivers. Gounon right behind, still yet to take his drive-through. Well, the trouble for the Ferrari team is just about to start. 22, Fabrizio Golin has a short. Mike Hazemans walking away from the number 5 car. He is out of the race as well. And after the pit stops, Jamie Campbell-Walter waiting because Nathan Kinch, who's taken over the Lister Storm, is reporting a steering problem. And in the end, there's little they can do about it. And the car, which was well placed after its first stop, is out of the race. So Biaggi back in front in the number 23 car. He's taken over from Matteo Bobi, and with better than a minute lead over the second Lister of Jean-Deli Delatraz, who's doing the second stint, having taken over from Piccini. Matthew Halliday in Philippe Alliot's Viper from pole is in 3rd. Tony Seiler in the Conrad Celine, despite the drive-through, in 4th. And Klaus Abelin, showing with the Swans, is in 5th position. An impressive run in that privately entered Viper. Tony Seiler in 4th place, and really getting to grips with the Conrad Celine, which is as quick as it has been in the previous 2 events, but also seemingly reliable. And he will be picking up places as David Halliday investigates the rally crossing abilities of the Viper. going off twice, exiting Coppice, or not quite exiting Coppice in the Force One Festina car, eventually dropping himself from 3rd to 5th. In NGT, Emmanuel Collard and Tim Sugden led the class for a long while. In the end, they would retire or be forced into the pits to change a drive shaft before carrying on. And Jamie Davis in the Team Maranello concessionaires Ferrari, well placed in his 360 until shortly after the pit stops, the car decides to shed a rear wheel. Well, he gets back to the pits and they do rejoin. Eventually, Jamie and Tim Mullen will finish in 5th place. Not a great day then for Ferrari, because the previous race winners, Stefan Ortelli and Mark Lieb, claimed the lead at the first pit stops as all the Ferraris struggled with problems. The number 89, Kelvin Burt, Darren Turner, Team Maranello concessionaires car started on pole but retired with gear linkage problems. Stefan Dowdy and ultra last-minute teammate Johnny Molam, who was originally hoping to drive in Road Atlanta's American Le Mans Series race, 2nd in the NGT class. And Andrew Kirkcaldy and Bentley Le Mans winner Guy Smith in a very different kind of car, 3rd in the category in the Team Velox Racing Ferrari. These drivers will join the TMC regulars for a 3-up pair of cars in the Spa 24 Hours. Kirkcaldy raced for Velox last year at Donington Park, I think I'm right in saying, and Guy Smith having his first taste of Ferrari. Bentley and Ferrari, what next? Bugatti don't race anymore. Can't think of anybody that's been going longer than those. Well, they lost a very good result when a gearbox failure caused a couple of problems, and it seems that Donington was the weekend of the lost wheels. Lap 76, Andrea Piccini's right front comes off, and further damage caused as he hobbles the car back to the pits will make it a long stop. 2nd place had looked very much on the cards for the Conrad Celine, but Team Boss France had an incident with the Lister, dropped the car into the gravel, and Tony Seiler on the left and Jean-Marc Gounon on the right can't believe it as they watch the pictures. Well, Conrad in the end is towed out of the gravel and will take 7th place. But all of that meant that we had in 2nd place the number 18 Viper. Aaron and Rob van der Zwaan and Klaus Abelen in his tiny family-run shoestring operation going very strongly. However, they are excluded post-race for having an a fuel filter stroke cooler in slightly the wrong position. Disappointing for them. Behind them is the Lilian Brinner, Enzo Calderari, Stefano Livio Ferrari, Philippe Alliot, David Hallyday and Steve Zacchia. 4th on the road, 3rd in the amended results, behind the Ferrari 1-2 for BMS Scuderia Italia and Care Racing. And it's the first podium for the Force One racing operation. Finally, a fruitful weekend for Tommy Erdos and Mike Newton in the Graham Nash Motorsport Celine. 4th place, and that's the best race result for a Celine all year. Bobby Verdenroe and Marco Zadra claim 5th place and look forward to welcoming AWOL into the fold for the Spa 24 Hours and possibly in a second Creation Autosportive car at the end of the season. On board with Fabio Bobini and Philip Pater, and the JMB racing team finally get both 550 Maranellos to the finish line, although they're not well placed. And again, after the first 4 races falling to them, so too does race 5. Matteo Bobi and Thomas Biaggi win. Teammates of a kind, Lilian Brinner, Enzo Calderari and Stefano Livio will finish in 2nd place in the number 21 Ferrari on the amended result sheet. And Philippe Alliot, David Hallyday and Steve Zacchia, well, that's their best result of the season as well. The Festina Force One Viper on the podium in 3rd, after the Van Zwaans and Abelen disappointingly and slightly controversially disqualified.
Unbelievable. I won't say just unbelievable. It's very hard race, and especially in the first stint, I touched me with Alliot, and then with Golini. So this was a very difficult race, but unbelievable.
So the championship still has Matteo Bobi and Thomas Biaggi with a perfect score, 10 points from each of the first 5 races of the season. And Lilian Brinner, Enzo Calderari and Stefano Livio behind them. It's a Ferrari domination. Mark Lieb and Stefan Ortelli winning in the NGT class from Stefan Dowdy and Johnny Molam.
It's always special for me to have a victory here in England. You know, my first victory was here in 1996 in outside France. So back here and win again this year, it's just great.
And a great result for Stefan Dowdy and Johnny Molam in the RWS UCOS car, comfortably the team's best of the season. And Johnny getting the call just less than half an hour after he'd been told he couldn't drive in America.
All the team was waiting for this from the start of the season. We were always good finisher, then we had mechanic problems. So for the first time now we have a terrific car. And I really want to thank Pirelli because we had very good tires for this race.
Well, it was a full Porsche podium because Bert Longin and Gabriele Gardel got the 3rd spot for the 2nd Freisinger Cup. Jamie Davis and Tim Mullen still leading the championship by a point from Di Simone and Bertolini, their Ferrari rivals, but Ortelli and Lieb now starting to motor up the order in 3rd spot. But in the GT class, it's all about Thomas Biaggi and Matteo Bobi, the runaway championship leaders.